Morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the country. It's time for football. Week 7 is here. I get a bye. Jim kind of does. Patriots, I would say, don't even need to show up. But we're going to get into all that. We're going to help you win your week. We're going to tell you who to bet, who to play, get your questions in as we go. Anything you need to know, we're going to help you win this week. So, like we said, this is the best show you haven't heard of yet. So join us every week. Make sure you subscribe, and we're going to help you win because we're still sitting well above 90% on all of our advice. So
you're welcome.
You can't beat that. 90%. I'm telling you, this is going to be one of those shows that in like 5 years, they're going to be like, I watched those guys on YouTube, and now we're on like ESPN or somebody else is going to pick us up because they're always right. How do they do it? Do they do it? It's an art and it's a collaborative effort, but I think we do a great job. So I don't think John's going to be joining us today. He is on a bus back from vacation right now. So and you can't talk on the bus. They get very angry if you do that.
He's taking a bus?
Yeah.
He took a bus to Florida?
No, he's taking a bus back from Boston.
Oh my God.
But it's like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive. So.
Right, Logan up to wherever the hell he is.
Yeah, probably Portsmouth, Maine, right? I'm guessing. And then drive back to his house. So he's got another 2 hours to go. So that's the another reason why I don't miss living in New England. So you're so far away from everything. Alex, good morning. Chiefs week likely going to be an L. That's the optimism I want to see. In Chiefs country. Yeah, you're gonna get an earful for sure. But the Chargers are a fun team to always talk about too, because they just always find a way to lose games. And I hope they continue to do that when they play the Jets in a few weeks. To be honest with you.
They should have won last week. They should have won. I'm sure Alex was kicking at TV because Dallas gave him every chance. And I don't know. I mean, the Chiefs. To me, the Chiefs are not the Chiefs of old, right? I mean, the Chiefs used to blow out everybody. You watch every game now, the other team's in it. I don't care what level of talent they have. They're in it. And I wonder how much of that is because of Eric Bieniemy leaving. It's almost like I watch the Chiefs now. Alex, you could see what you think, but I watch the Chiefs now, and I feel like every play is like Mahomes says, I'm going to call hike and run around, and you guys try and get open. That's every play now.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's no script, and there's a lot of worlds where we were undefeated. Yeah, you're right. But I do think that the Chiefs are kind of like, we're just going to wing it. We're going to wing every play. We'll try and make something happen. I'm going to roll right, roll left. You guys keep trying to get open, and I'll buy time. And it's like,
we'll see what happens.
Since Bieniemy left, I mean, they definitely look like a different team to me. So
yeah, I mean, the wide receivers are. I mean, they just traded back. They got Mecole Hardman back. I don't know how exciting that is for anybody in Chiefs country. I'd love to hear, but that's exactly where I was going with this. Kelsey is the entire team. Like if you just double Kelsey and force Mahomes to throw it to Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney and now Mecole Hardman, like you got a better bet of playing man coverage against those guys and doubling or even tripling. Like that's really what you got to. You have to double Kelsey and keep a spy on Mahomes, and as long as you do that, that offense is going to be just a mid-level offense. As great as Mahomes is, if you take away his running lanes and you take away Kelsey, man, that's an average offense.
Yep.
So there's no other weapons.
That's what and as talented as Kadarius is, he can't stay on the field. He seems like he's a little bit of a head case. Maybe a lot of a head case.
A lot of a head case. Yeah, don't be so nice to him. He left you.
No, I know. He's and I'm sure there was reasons. I'm sure the locker room had a lot to do with it. So
yeah. We'll see when we'll get to that game coming up. That's kind of at the end, but we got a lot to talk about. A lot of injuries this week. A lot of people out. A lot of flexible. And plus with a heavy dose of bye weeks too. This week gets very, very challenging. So make sure you're getting questions in if you're stuck between players, especially with waiver wire ads, stuff like that. Drop your questions in, and we're going to help you make some good moves here. So We were just talking about this game, so let's dive into it. I don't know if I've ever seen a game that's going to be like this. Raiders at Bears. No Garoppolo, no Fields. It is Hoyer versus Bagnet. I don't even know how you say his name.
Yeah.
Division II quarterback last year. I saw this time last year, he threw 2 interceptions against Nevada College of Coal and Mining or something like that. I don't even know what it is, but it was something to that effect, some kind of a mining college that he was playing against, and threw 2 interceptions against them. And now here he is starting an NFL game against the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean,
Appalachian Trail, right?
you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. So,
as always, Bears Raiders may be the worst game of all time. It could be like a 6-3 game, or it could be like a 50-47 game. I mean, who knows what these guys are going to do? I mean, the Bears are horrible anyway. I said the Bears wouldn't win a game, and they somehow beat the Commanders, I think, 40 to. Yeah. They scored 40 points.
Yeah, this could be a high scoring game, all on the defense. So that's about the only thing you need in this game. Is I tried to actually pick up the Raiders defense. It's not available, but the Bears defense too with Brian Hoyer is not. That's a nice play as well, and especially with a lot of good teams on buys, good defenses on buys. Both of these are excellent defensive targets for a 1-week pickup. Especially the Raiders. I mean, this guy, Division II quarterback. Oh my God,
Max Crosby be all over that.
Yes, Max Crosby is going to eat his lunch. So, and he's probably going to shake all the change out of his pockets too while he's bullying him. So it's going to be pretty bad. And the Raiders are in disarray as well. Even with Garoppolo, it doesn't really matter because the whole Devontae Adams is getting pissed off and wants to be traded, but they're not going to trade him. That's going to go well, I think, for the rest of the year. But so the Raiders will do what they usually do and just completely fall apart. And but this game, it's a 38 over under, which surprisingly is higher scoring than the Giants Commanders game. So
well, we got Tyrod playing too.
We'll take that and the Falcons Buccaneers game. So I don't know what Vegas is thinking here, but
have you seen the Ritter for Atlanta trying to throw the ball?
Yeah,
horrible.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
He is.
Oh my God! I watched the end of the game last week. I think the coach is ready to quit. He's holding his head, holding his every pass. He's doing this. He's panicking. But Ritter looks. Oh my God! Yeah. Oh my God! They may have been a mistake picking him.
Yeah, a little bit. But you have Bjorn Robinson, and you don't really utilize him. Keep handing the ball off to Tyler Algier, and it's. That whole team is a mess. Like you don't hire Arthur Smith as a coach. I mean, you watched him be the offensive coordinator for the Titans for years, and all he did was hand the ball to Henry. And now he's got a good running back, and he doesn't hand the ball to him. So it's like Falcons are a mess. Anyway, this Raiders-Bears game. Vegas is a 2-point favorite. I'm going to give the tilt to the Raiders in this one. Brian Hoyer's got to be better than the Division II Nevada Coal and Mining College loser. So,
So they're playing where? In Chicago, right?
In Chicago, yeah.
So Raiders playing outdoor. The game, I think, will be a mess. It probably will be the under, but no, I think the Raiders defense will do it.
Yeah, it looks like 55, mostly sunny, so weather shouldn't be an issue.
There's a lot of wind going around too. It was really windy here yesterday.
Chicago,
still windy here, but wind is going to have a little bit of a play in the New England game and a couple of the other ones.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this one plays out, but I don't think. I'm stuck starting Devontae Adams in this one. I have him, but outside of that, you kind of have to with this week. But I don't expect much. I'm hoping he's heavily targeted, breaks a couple, but not very hopeful on that one. All right, next up, Browns at the Colts, 3-2, 3-3. Another quarterback out game here. So this
So
is another
Watson, I
one
think,
like
is out, right? Watson's out, and the other guy's out for what, the year?
he's done for the season
Yeah,
for Anthony Richardson.
Richardson, right?
Deshaun Watson is active, it says. He hasn't played since week 3, but he's apparently ready to give it a try. He's going to give it the old college try, and
Yeah,
that's
well,
all you
for
could
how long?
really ask. Yeah, for how long is going to be the question. The Colts defense isn't anything crazy, but I mean, Watson hasn't looked like the Texans Watson at all since he's been there. So, the Colts are a feisty team, but I think with Minshew back there, it's not exactly the threat you had with Richardson. So, this is a game too where you like Michael Pittman in this one, I think, but Brown side, you probably just lean on their number ones with Cooper and Pittman. But man, I mean the running game too. Ford looks pretty good, getting a lot of touches. Kareem Hunt's dealing with a thigh issue. He is active, but they also added Deion Jackson, who was with the Colts, and promoted him to the active roster. So you don't feel great about that at all. So Ford should get a lot of run in this game. So from a fantasy perspective, like Jerome Ford is probably a nice fill-in play this week. He does get a lot of touches. Like I said, the Colts defense is not crazy. And with Watson's injury, Ford's probably going to get a lot of time on the ground. So in this one, oh man. So Cleveland's 3.5-point favorites. This is indoors, so weather doesn't matter. 40-point over under in this one.
I'll tell you, I'm going to take the Colts.
Yeah.
I think Minshew at home upsets the Browns. If you want to even say that as a sentence, the Colts. I'm going to say upset the Browns. But yeah, I think Minshew has done enough, and Watson I don't think is going to play the whole game. And they're playing in the dome.
Yeah.
And the dome gets louder now. I think I would take the points and take the Colts at home.
Okay. I like that as well. I expect Jonathan Taylor to kind of have his full workload back this week. Unfortunately for Zach Moss, who's been playing fantastic in his stead, but I think his run's kind of over. Taylor's the best player on the field for most teams any given week, and against this Browns team is going to be good. I agree with you. I'm going to take the Colts for the win there, and especially with the 3.5 points, I'll definitely take that one. So that feels like a really nice bet right there. So Alex, 250 million guaranteed, and that joke can't even play like a top 15 quarterback. Yeah. I mean, it's the Browns, right? I mean, the Browns, they can't do it right. I don't know what it is, and they trade away Baker Mayfield, the only quarterback that gets them to a playoff game in what, like 20 years. They trade him away after one bad year, go with Deshaun, and now look at what they've got. So serves them right. Speaking of abuse, the Bills are traveling down to Foxborough to take on the 1-5 New England Patriots. Buffalo is only a 7.5-point favorite in this one. And it's a 41-point over-under, which that feels about right because the Bills, I mean, they can score 41, but I don't know. That's hard to do in New England. So 41-0 maybe would be a push. I don't know. Maybe the Patriots could get a field goal in this one, make it a 44-point game.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. So I saw that Mac Jones has now thrown more pick sixes in his career than Tom Brady did in his entire career in New England.
Come on.
Yes. He has thrown more pick sixes already than Tom Brady did in his entire career in New England, which is almost hard to believe, but yeah. So as we get into this one, Alex, that Stevenson's probably going to get a lot of play this week. Actually, no, I need to rephrase that. So he's probably their best weapon this week. But against the Bills, he's probably not going to do very much. This game should be out of hand by halftime, and forcing them into throwing situations. Stevenson, he can catch, but he's not like a huge receiving threat there. So you're probably forced to play him this week with all the buys, but I feel like the Bills should have this game put away by halftime. And I know it's a division game. Bill Belichick's going to come up with some sneaky stuff, but the talent is just clearly on one side of the field here. The Bills are just much better in every single aspect of the game. So what I wish John was going to be on to talk about was what happens when Mac Jones puts up another dud this week.
And he
is he going to play in the second? Is he even going to make it to the second half? Or will you see Cunningham in the game, 198-pound converted wide receiver?
Like, I don't know. Here they were talking about, Belichick, even though he signed an extension in the offseason, he's on the hot seat. And do they look at moving away from him, even though he's in the middle of a rebuild, right? I mean, basically it is a rebuild, but so is there a chance they move on from Belichick? And then where do you go? Who do you go to? You gonna promote one of the coaches you have there now? Probably not.
I don't think so. I mean, it's Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is the most experienced guy on that staff, and you want to go with Bill O'Brien, who destroyed the Texans for like a decade? No, absolutely.
How would you like to follow Belichick as a coach? You're a first-time coach. Oh, I'm going to come after. I'm going to follow up after Belichick.
Right. Forget it. It's just I mean, they probably will try to go with that, but again, how do you go from what has he got, 2 years, 3 years of coaching experience with Gerard Mayo, like, and he's going to step in for Bill Belichick with no quarterback and a team that's in shambles. Like, good luck, man. And for the Patriots fans out there, like, welcome to the rest of the NFL's pain. I mean, this is what most of us deal with consistently is quarterback problems and coaching problems. It's a continuous carousel. It's very hard to get that. So, Big Daddy Weirdo. I like it. Should I start A.J. Dillon, any Rams running back, or Craig Reynolds? Also, Love or Goff? So,
Green Bay.
Yes. The answer is
Denver.
Oh, I just blanked. So I would go with Goff. Goff has been extremely good, and it just keep rolling with him because Love is very risky, very, very risky. And it depends on, again, risk reward. What do you need? But I would go with Goff personally. He just does it week in and week out. I mean, he's been 2 touchdowns a week pretty much is a guarantee with him. And with so Aaron Jones is going to be questionable, and with a hamstring like that makes you nervous. A.J. Dillon should be a very nice play this week, but also for the Rams, Kyron Williams is probably going to be playing in this one as well. Darrell Henderson Jr. was also brought up. I mean, there's going to be a few hands in the Rams backfield to compete with. I would probably go with A.J. Dillon in this one. The nice thing is it's an afternoon game, so you're going to have some time to pivot, and also the Rams game is an afternoon game too. So you'll be able to jump around. But the Rams backfield is pretty muddy right now. Craig Reynolds will play as well, and with Montgomery out, he's going to get some play. I would probably pivot to Reynolds. But they're the morning game. No, so I would stick with Dillon. I would stick with Dillon in this one, even if Aaron Jones is playing. Stick with Dillon because a hamstring is that can act up instantly. And once you pull a hamstring, like, man, it's such a hard recovery. It just always lingers. So you really want that to be full. So I think they're probably just saying he's questionable to keep it going, but
Dillon should get the majority. He could punch in a touchdown, and I agree. Love. Goff as well.
Yeah, and God, man, Dillon's legs. That dude, he's got treat. It's like Ricky Williams again. Like, if you remember, I'm sure you do, Ricky Williams. The size of his legs, like, my God, you could plant those in the ground and you could grow like a redwood out of it. It's just insane. So, and you watch Dylan's the same way. He'll have 4 guys on his back and he just keeps going. You're like,
right.
My God, I want to see some of those videos where he's squatting like 800, 900, 1,200 pounds. Like it's nothing, because he's one of those guys. But yeah, I mean, against that Broncos defense, like the Packers should be able to run a lot. I don't trust Jordan Love yet.
No.
Because man, he's been a lot of up and down. He started off really hot, but the last couple games he's been very, very, very hot and cold. So
Goff is consistent. Goff is playing well. I think he's got.
It's against the Ravens. Tough defense, but
we'll check that. I'll check after the game and see. Let us know which way you go there, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
And good luck.
All right, so let's keep rolling. It's your turn now. We're both picking the Bills in this game, but let's now go to the Commanders, traveling all the way up to Jersey to take on the 1-5 Giants. Washington's only a 3-point favorite in this one. So surprisingly, I thought they would be a little bit more with Tyrod back there, but it looks like the offensive line is still beat up a little bit for the Giants. But what do you think? Is there any hope from Big Blue Nation there that this could be a win?
So I'll tell you, usually when Tyrod goes in, he plays a couple of plays, he plays a quarter, and he goes out with some kind of head injury or something, and he's out. His knee, his hamstring, something. But last week,
a needle in the chest. Yeah.
Right, a needle to the heart. Right. I thought he did great last week. I mean, I was really surprised. We almost upset Buffalo.
Yeah,
and
kept it close for a long time.
I mean, really kept them in the game, throwing smart passes. Still I think holds the ball a little bit too long, is a little bit indecisive, and Washington I don't believe has any injuries. I think I didn't see anybody out, anybody questionable. So they're full staff there, and it is breezy here. So I don't know if that's going to affect the throwing game. It does look like there's like 20-mile-an-hour winds and at MetLife. So Barkley's probably going to get the majority. They'll keep the ball on the ground, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
But again, Washington's defense, who they go hot and cold too. I mean, Chicago scored 40 points on them, and then they took the Eagles to overtime. So they were, you don't know what you got with Washington. So they're a hard team to really figure out. But
they are.
Do I think the Giants are going to win today? No. I mean, it's like I love to say yes every time, but it's been a year where the center is out again. I mean, we brought the kid up, the rookie hurt his shoulder. He's out. Pert's out. We got guys jumping around. We just signed Justin Pugh back from the he was basically on the couch. You can see that.
Yeah. And it said literally from the couch to the field. Yeah.
So now he's back on the field. But I mean, it's just really thin at the line. And Washington's defensive line, I think, is going to be blasting through them all day. I'm going to have it on down here. Actually, they show that game down here.
Oh, really?
The Eagles are on tonight. So they have space there to put something on. But no, I think I hope Giants defense keeps it close. I think that's the only way they can win is if the defense can, turn the ball over or get a strip sack or a pick six or something like that, and try and keep the game close. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the game stays close into the fourth quarter, and then hopefully there's some kind of fluke play that the Giants could pull it out. But on paper, it looks like Washington should win.
Yeah. So I agree with all of that. Very, very well broken down. I think Saquon is still a play this week, especially with buys and all that stuff. And Tyrod seemed to look for him a bit too. So he's still going to get some catches. He should be the focal point of the offense, like you said in this one. And I think the big thing to your point is how does Sam Howell play? Like I think that's the X factor in this one.
Right.
Because we've seen him lead some pretty impressive comebacks, but we've also seen him come up flat quite a bit too. So, so that's the thing is, can the Giants come up with a game plan to kind of screw with him a little bit and keep this, let Saquon control it on the ground, and maybe pick up a couple of nice interceptions, close field positions, and then roll a couple of touchdowns off of those, maybe a pick six. I don't know, but I think that's your best bet is going to be, can they come up with a game plan to screw with Howell and win the field position battles in this one? But Commanders they could explode. They could score points too. We've seen that.
Well, I think when they did play that tight game against Philly, both of Philly's corners were out. And then like I said, then you go up against Chicago and Chicago scores 40 on you. It's like, and I think it was, what was it, 40-20 or something like that, the game?
Yeah.
And
but they were getting blown out, and they made a hell of a second half run in that one. They were getting destroyed at halftime, and then they flipped it and
so how does Chicago with their firepower or lack thereof 40 points on Washington's D? Again, it could have been a trap game. Maybe it was a trap game for Washington, right?
Yeah.
This will be a walk in the park.
And also, this is a division game, so you should expect it to be a little bit tighter. But yeah, we'll see. Mike, to your answer, just go ahead and take the week off, sit back and relax, have a drink, and watch, unfortunately, what looks like a lot of really bad football this week. But we might get to a couple games that look interesting. So let's keep going. I'm going to say the Commanders win this one too. But the fact that they're only 3-point favorites says Vegas is a little worried about it. So that'll be one to keep an eye on. So speaking of your boy Desmond Ridder, the Falcons at the Buccaneers, 3-3 Falcons, 3-2 Bucks. Falcons are 0-2 outside of Atlanta. So Tampa's a 3-point favorite at home. Another low-scoring 37-point over-under prediction. Beautiful day down there in sunny Florida, 78 degrees, a little bit of clouds, mostly sun. And it's a Baker Mayfield game. So what do you think in this one? I know you're not a huge Desmond Ridder fan from what I've gathered. So what are you thinking?
He looked horrible when I was watching him last week. I think the team is falling apart. And if he starts missing throws early, that I could just see receivers throwing their helmets like, I've had enough of this. What am I running my route for? He can't even get close to me. Okay. I don't even know if the Falcons will score 13, but Bucks for sure. I'm taking the Bucks today. I think Ridder is a flop, and he's got a lot of work to do.
He does, and that whole offense does. I mean, and that's the thing with the Falcons that's frustrating is they've got Drake London, they've got Kyle Pitts, they've got Bjorn Robinson, and they love Tyler Algier. They keep running him, even though they drafted Robinson like 6th overall. They've got weapons on offense,
right? But they have nobody to throw the ball on.
Yeah, so and it just
load up the box and make them throw it, and you'll win.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and that seems to be what teams are starting to do. From the Bucs side, I mean, Mike Evans, he's a must play. Like Baker Mayfield loves Mike Evans, and he is playing this week. Godwin's still a nice play. Rashid White. So I saw a stat where he's averaging like 3.3 yards after contact, which is not very good. But again, in a week that there's so many buys and injuries, like I'm forced to start him, which I'm not very happy about, but he's been sitting on the bench the whole time. I need him to come through this 1 week, and against the Falcons, I feel kind of good about it. I feel kind of good about his chances of finally breaking out a little bit and putting something together. So, if you have White and you need a running back, it's not a bad play against this Falcons team. So, but I agree. I think I don't know about 27, but maybe I'd probably tease it down to like a 21-24 somewhere in there. I mean, it just feels kind of high for a division game, but that spread. But yeah, I mean that's probably pretty close, Mike. I like that. Bucks +6 turnover margin. Falcons -6. Okay, so expect a turnover at least on the Buccaneers side on this one, and we're both going Bucks in this one. We're agreeing a lot.
Yeah,
this is a little unnerving. All right, so here we go. A good potential game to talk about here. Lions 5-1, Ravens 4-2. Baltimore at home 3-point favorites. Still a low 43 over under. Looks like a pretty nice day there. 64, partly cloudy. But this Lions team, 3-0 on the road. Ravens are 1-1 at home. The Lions are rolling, and they are absolutely for real. And I jumped on board with this after I watched them handle the Chiefs their opening night, and they haven't really slowed down at all. I mean, this team looks really, really good all around.
Well, Montgomery's out though, right? So
He is. So now you're going with Gibbs, who you took in the first round for hopefully a reason. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this is the first time we're really going to get to see what Gibbs can do. He's looked very, very good when he has the ball. He's so explosive, but for some reason, you can't make heads or tails of, because they also had DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
And they gave him away for a round pick. And look at him. He's destroying it in Philly. And now they drafted Gibbs in the first round, and they're not really using him, but instead they're using David Montgomery. Explain that to me. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But
no.
And then also Marvin Jones did not travel with the team. So another thing I'm going to be keeping an eye on is Jameson Williams in this one. Like that could be a huge breakout game for Williams. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. The Ravens side, I mean, Mark Andrews is probably, if you're playing DFS or something of that nature, like Mark Andrews is probably going to have himself a day against the Lions. So the Lions have nice corners, but I think their middle is a little bit soft there, and Andrews could probably take some nice advantage of that. It's kind of like the Chiefs, though. Like it's Kelsey and Mahomes, and it's Lamar and Andrews, right? I mean, like that's kind of just the offense. So, so in this one, you said you like Goff.
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, I'm looking at his stats. So 11 TDs and 3 INTs, and Lamar is 5 and 3. I mean, it's really not even close when you compare the two of them. And I'm not a fan of Lamar. I think he holds the ball too long. It takes too many chances, takes too many hits. But again, the Lions are playing outdoor, right? So it is a tougher game. It's probably going to be let's see, it's a 64. Doesn't say anything about the win there, but they are 3-point favorites, the Ravens. Yeah, I say go with Detroit until they prove me wrong. But no, I think Detroit wins on the road.
Yeah. So Mike's saying that the odds are against it, with Lamar being 15-1 against NFC teams, but this Lions team looks different. They just do, and I do think Hutchinson is going to get to Lamar. I mean, Lamar's going to run a lot. They got to keep a spy on him. It's exactly like we talked about with the Kansas City game, the opening of the show. Like you keep a spy on Lamar, you double Andrews, and you basically got the game. They don't really have a running game. They don't have wide receiver threats that you're worried about. It's a pretty, it's just they're very talented quarterbacks when they get running. So as long as you could contain them, you should be able to win. And that Lions defensive line is very strong. So I'm going to agree with you again. I'm going to say the Lions take this one. And it's hard to go into Baltimore. That's a tough place to play.
Yep.
But this Lions team looks real, and I agree with you. Until you see otherwise, until you see somebody put a plan together to beat them, I say you got to roll with them. All right, so let's roll into the afternoon games. So we got Rams hosting the Steelers in this one. Rams are 3-point favorites.
Bad football, yeah.
I know. Over under 44. And this is another game where, I don't know, there's not a lot there. The Steelers just don't look good overall. I mean, Watt's still probably their best weapon on defense, without a doubt. Najee Harris is doing terribly this year, just absolutely terrible. The Rams, Stafford looks good. Puka looks good. Kupp looks great. Their running game is going to be a little makeshift this week. So I think absolutely start Puka, start Kupp, expect a lot of throwing in this game. If Stafford's available, I think that's a very nice fill-in quarterback, again, with buys. If you can get Stafford against the Steelers defense, which is not that great, grab Stafford, plug him in, because I think there's going to be a lot more throwing in this one. So anything on the Steelers side that
not really. What's surprising is the Steelers won 2 out of the last 3 games, and the Rams lost 2 out of the last 3. So I wouldn't have thought that until I just looked at it. But to me, I was thinking, do the Steelers have any chance to go to LA and beat the Rams at home? No. And then I looked, why is the line only 3 points? So
right.
That to me, that doesn't make sense. There's got to be more to something there. But I think, as soon as you look at it, right off the top, I say Rams win at home. But then it's like, well, why is it only 3? What's going on? I mean, Stafford versus Pickett. When you look at their numbers, Stafford does throw a lot of interceptions, right? But Pickett's, I think he has that last name for a reason. Williams 6 TDs for the Rams. I think the Rams win at home. I don't know why anybody would bet against the Rams here, but the 3 points is maybe just to make you kind of second guess it and think, oh, maybe it's going to be Pittsburgh upset. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's the Steelers do have a way to pull out games that you don't expect. And you, to your point, like you said, they've somehow won 3 games. So, so they can win games. They have the same amount of wins, but it just doesn't feel like this week is going to be one of them. But then again, the Jets beat the Eagles, so who knows, right?
Right. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So I'm going to continue to agree with you. Rams at home just feels better in this one. So,
wow, my brother's agreeing too. 30-9. Okay.
30-9. That'll be, man, that's going to set Steeler Nation off. And maybe 9 is generous. Wasn't Gibbs injured during the week? He may not be 100%. Let me take a look at that. I don't see an injury designation. Let me double check. Saying he should be the leader in the backfield. Let's take a peek while we're going here.
Hamstring.
Let's see. Gibbs has no designation. Lions removed Gibbs' hamstring from injury report on Friday. So Dan Campbell said Gibbs would take the load, giggity, of rushing attempts in week 7. Backup Greg Reynolds is dealing with multiple injuries, listed as questionable, in line to see elite workload. Gibbs is ranked as low end RB1. So no, he should be good to go in this one. So he had a hamstring, but good to go. Okay, I was like, man, that took you a long. That was on Friday, so. No. All right, so rolling on here. Let's see. We're not going to differ on this one. Cardinals traveling up here to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Seahawks. 1-5 Cardinals, 0-3 on the road. Coming up here to a very, very hostile place. 9.5-point favorites for Seattle. It looks like it is 57. It says sunny with light clouds. Looking out the window, I completely disagree with that. Because I don't see a patch of blue sky anywhere. So very, very, very overcast today, but looks like very calm as well. So no wind, no sun. We'll see. Maybe by 1 o'clock it breaks up. That would be nice. But I don't know. Seahawks should destroy the Cardinals. I mean,
right. Metcalf is questionable, right? I thought he was maybe going to be out, but.
No, it sounds like he's playing.
Really?
Let me jump down here.
It's crazy that the Giants and the Jets both had Geno Smith. They could have been their future QB. Both of us let him go, and now all of a sudden he knows how to play.
Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah, so it says he's questionable. Limited practice Fridays, likely to be a game time call. If you have a healthy option playing in the early window, you may not want to wait on Metcalf. So I don't know. I think he'll play personally,
Metcalf
but
doesn't seem to do much anyway. I mean, his name is bigger than his numbers are.
I mean, he's a pretty big guy too. But
But
I
as
mean,
far
they
as
just have a lot of weapons. I think if he was on a different team, he would probably be better. But with Lockett there, and they like to go with a lot of running games, or with a lot on the running game in this team too. So, what I really like in this game is Kenneth Walker because Chardonnay looks like he's going to be sitting and sipping wine all day. That's Zach Charbonnet, their other running back. So they promoted DJ Dallas off the practice squad for the backup. He'll get a couple touches, but I think this is going to be a huge day for Kenneth Walker, especially once they establish a lead, which should be somewhere mid first quarter. I don't think it's going to be a huge Geno Smith game against the Cardinals. Not a lot. I think a big running game in this one. And Dobbs will probably be a nice fantasy player this week on the other side. I mean, he's not a great quarterback, but I expect him to be down early and have to throw. And he should be able to put up some pretty decent stats, trying garbage time stats, but I think he should have some nice stats in this one when it's all said and done.
But
9.5 point favorites. So Vegas is not expecting a close game either. But yeah, I'm just looking from a garbage time perspective. I think I think that'll be a good game for him. And I think he wants to make a name for himself. Kyler should be back soon. So if he can at least put up some points and look decent, I just don't think the Cardinals can keep up.
No.
And I think you agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next game up, Packers at Broncos. So this is a game it's Jordan Love versus Russell Wilson. Russell's, I don't know, he's looked a little bit better, but he still looks nothing like his Seattle days. This is a game that's got nice fantasy projections to it, I think. So Green Bay is a 1-point favorite going down there to Denver. Beautiful 60-day and full sun in Denver. That's nice for this time of year. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Love, again, like we talked about earlier, up and down. We don't expect Aaron Jones to play in this one. So AJ Dillon should have a nice game as well. But man, I mean, the Broncos defense is pretty good. I mean, they've got Patrick Surtain. He's probably going to take away, I would guess, Christian Watson is probably who he's going to be on. That's their best wide receiver. And from a Broncos perspective, man, I don't know. I like Williams running the ball again this week. But man, there's players here that can do some stuff in this game. It's just really hard to pinpoint the wide receiver that's going to go off, but somebody's going to have to score points in this game. And they have it at 44.5. So they're expecting points to be scored. I just feel like it's going to be on the ground. So I'm like trying to, I love AJ Dillon in this one. I like Williams in this game too. I like Javonte Williams. He's hopefully in another week healthier, and he'll look good too. But wide receiver, I mean, maybe Sutton goes off in this one.
We say that every week, by the way.
I know. It's
just 1 week he's gonna, but
I know. It's just like
3 touchdowns.
Right. I don't know, but he's usually, I mean, he's been pretty consistent with putting up yards and or a touchdown. So, I mean, for this week with a bunch of buys again that we're dealing with, it's not a bad play. It really isn't.
Sutton, it's week 7, right? All right. So through 6 games, he has 25 receptions for 275 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
you think he would do more, especially with Wilson, right? Wilson's got 12 and 4 TDs to interceptions, but
yeah.
1,300 yards. I mean, you think at some point Wilson's going to really put it up. I mean, these teams, one lost, the Broncos lost 4 out of 5. The Packers lost 3 out of 5 out of the last 5.
It's not a great game, but you know, where do you go fantasy wise here?
Well,
I mean, Sutton seems like the best bet, especially in a fill-in. And you know, to go to the point that we continuously circle back to, the bye weeks this week: Bengals, Cowboys, Titans, Jets, Panthers, not an issue, and the Texans. I mean, there's a lot of big time wide receivers, especially, but you know, Derrick Henry's out, Garrett Wilson, CeeDee Lamb, Pollard, T. Higgins, Chase, Mixon, you know,
a lot of shuffling.
Yeah, Nico Collins and Damian Pierce are out. CJ Stroud, who I picked up as a quarterback, is out. You know, like, and the Panthers, they're on a break.
Right.
So, yeah.
But to that point, even the games that are being played, there's a lot of injuries. Like Debo's out, and McCaffrey's got an oblique, and you know he's like a game time, and he probably won't go full tilt either. So, yeah, it's a tough week because even the teams that are playing, they're not at full strength.
Right. So yeah, I think AJ Dillon's going to have a huge game, and hopefully, Big Daddy there starts him. But he's going to have a huge game against this Broncos defense, who's just been atrocious. But I do think, you know, their one bright spot is Patrick Surtain Jr., very good corner. So that's why I'm a little hesitant on that side, because I don't know who he's going to be covering. But if he's on Christian Watson, it's going to be very hard to do anything. So, but yeah, give me the Packers in this one. Go Pack, go. I think they're just better from the running game perspective. Yep. So
I'll go opposite. I'm going to say Broncos win at home.
Okay, good. We needed one.
Wilson has a game today, and even though their defense is the worst in the NFL, I'm going to say the Broncos win at home.
Okay, good. We needed one. Yes. We needed one. All right, so Alex, hopefully he's done walking the dogs. He's here. He's seated. He's ready to talk. Chargers heading down into Chief country to take on the 5-1 Chiefs. Kansas City 6-point favorites against the Chargers. Not a lot of respect for a division game here, I don't think, against, like we talked about earlier, a Chiefs team that has looked much more vulnerable this year than they have in years past. So Justin Herbert, the Chargers, like we say every week, find a way to lose games. Now, luckily, they don't have to have their own stadium full of Chiefs fans cheering against them. At least they're on the road. But every game's a road game for the Chargers. There's that one crazy woman, which I think you saw. Did you see her? Yeah. That's like the only Chargers fan that's really out there besides Alex. So there's 2 Chargers fans.
Well, it's an actress because she was at a Viking game doing the same thing. So
I saw that picture.
I don't know if that's real or not, but
yeah, I don't know if it was either. I saw she was on the Pat McAfee show and they were interviewing her, and she was saying she was a crazy Chargers fan, but I don't know if that was a true Vikings thing or if that was like an AI generated. You can't tell anymore. So, yeah, but in this one, I think, Austin Eckler's looking like he's getting better, coming off of a few weeks off there of rest and injury. So nice play there. They're going to need him quite a bit. But I think if the Chargers can do exactly what we said, double Kelsey, keep a spy on Mahomes, there's no reason why the Chargers can't win this game. Will they? No. But there's no reason why they can't.
Right.
I mean, in all honesty, like they have the talent, they have the players to go head to head, toe to toe with the Chiefs on offense and kind of defense too. I mean, the Chiefs defense kind of feasts on mistakes that other teams are doing, trying to catch back up, but they haven't really been running away with games like they had in years, and the last couple of years with Tyreek Hill. So the Chargers should be able to win this game. and I think it's going to be a close one that they give the ball back to Mahomes with 2 minutes left in the game. He walks downfield, they kick a field goal, game over. It's going to be one of those where they can't get a stop. They score too fast, and boom.
Right? Can the Chargers defense keep him, hit him a couple times? I mean, again, so the Chiefs have won the last 5, right? They're 5-1. Chargers, but the Chiefs have been scoring 17, 41 versus the Bears, 23, 27, and 19. Right? They beat the Broncos 19-8. Come on.
Yeah.
And the Chargers are actually scoring, right? Even when, 17, they 24, 28, 24, 34. Their last. So the Chargers score. And they should have won last week against Dallas, but they let them win. And like I said, I feel like ever since Bieniemy left, I don't think it seems like the Chiefs offense doesn't really have a direction right now. I don't like the play calling. They're not lighting up teams. I think the Chargers can upset the Chiefs here. I would take the Chargers into 6 points. Going into Arrowhead.
That's risky. And it's not a bad call. It's just like, I don't know. And especially, being friends with Alex and like keeping an eye on Chargers games and stuff like that. Like that's all you see though, is the Chargers. They should win this game. They let it go. They'll go up big. They'll give up the lead. And you're just like, why? Like, what are you doing? Like, so until the Chargers can prove otherwise and win a big game, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs in this one, though I do think the Chargers should win this game. I'm going to say that they find a way to lose it. So
they got to control the line. I mean, they can't just rush upfield and around and leave holes for Mahomes to run through the middle like
they have to
against
him.
the Jets. 27-0.
Yeah.
No, I think they just got to. You got Bosa and you got Mac. I mean, you get those guys to just hit him a couple times and make him a little bit wobbly and
yeah, and keep a spy on him. Keep one of the linebackers, fully invested on him. Like you've got the pressure on the defensive line. If he escapes, have the linebacker ready to knock him down. Like you have to. You can't let him run all day. So. We'll see. That's actually going to be a really fun game to watch, and will probably be televised on most afternoon games. Will be that one, I'm assuming, because God, who wants to watch the other ones? They're going to be terrible. All right, and let's go to tonight. Finally, Sunday night game that's going to be a good one to watch. Dolphins at the Eagles. This is going to be an awesome game.
It should be.
It should be 5-1 Dolphins. 5-1 Eagles, thanks to the Jets last week. But Philly's a 3-point favorite, over under a 52.5. Nice high scoring game projected for Sunday Night Football. This is going to be an absolute fireworks show. Should be a fireworks show. Both teams, great running backs. Let me see. Eventually issue the back of most. Yeah. So, I mean, even without, what's his name? Why did I just blank it? Oh my God. The running back for Miami, that's been killing it at, Etienne.
Oh, the other kid. Yeah.
Even with him being on IR, Mostert's still there and he's still killing it. So they added Jeff Wilson Jr. from IR, and they've got Ahmed, who's also back there as well. So they've got depth at the running back position. They've got Waddle and Hill. I mean, it's just going to be, thank you, Alex. They've got weapons on both teams, great wide receivers, great running backs. Both defenses are suspect. Surprisingly, like the Dolphins, I didn't realize, because I actually I dropped them this week in fantasy because they're one of the lowest scoring defenses fantasy wise they only have like 33 points scored in fantasy, which is extremely low. It's bottom of the barrel. Most average to above average teams are in their 50s right now. So, and they're sitting at 33. So not great. So with that, there can be scored on. And I think we saw the Eagles with the same thing. I mean, the Eagles can be scored on as well. Their defense is good, but not great. So, man, this is going to be such a great game. And this is kind of where this is going to win or lose fantasy weeks right here in this Sunday night game, because the rest of it is going to be so close. If you have Dolphins or Eagles, you should score points this week. It should put you over the top.
Yeah.
But what do you think in this one? Who's standing out to you and who's winning?
So it's funny being down here because I listen to Philly sports radio, right? And Mike Quick is ex-receiver, does the games, and I listen to the fans, and even when they were undefeated, they wanted to revamp the whole thing. We got to change everything. Nothing's working. And people on the radio like, we're undefeated. You know that, right? You saw our record?
Yeah.
But I feel like they and it's crazy because the Phillies, I'm rooting for the Phillies now. The Phillies, you watch those fans at those games. If you've watched any of the playoffs, when they're at home, incredible what happens here. But I think the Eagles have a couple of weaknesses that I think the Miami can take advantage of, the Dolphins. So I don't think the Eagles win tonight. I like Miami tonight. And they're playing at the Link. So they're playing here. And actually, is the baseball game on tonight? I wonder how that happens. What's going to happen? It's right next door to each other. They're right next door to both stadiums. And if the playoff game is tonight for the Phillies, and no, probably not. They played in Arizona last night. I can't imagine they're probably playing Monday night.
Yeah, probably.
But because that would be that'd be a problem for the fans that go to both games.
Game 6 is tomorrow.
It is
at
tomorrow.
Philly. Yeah,
I'm rooting for the Phillies, but Houston tonight. Okay.
Yeah, it's a hell of a matchup, though.
It is. And really, AJ Brown seems to be unstoppable, right? I mean, if I'm hurt, I'm looking for him all the time. He gets open. He's big. He knocks people over. He can go up over them and catch the ball. And I know there's been some issues with him on the sideline, arguing he's not getting enough balls. Devontae's arguing a little bit, not happy because he wants to be targeted more. I mean, that's what happens with these guys. I mean, they had to, I think AJ Brown last week left the game, didn't even do any interviews. I mean, you're 5-1. What are you doing? You're going to disrupt the chemistry now? Yeah. So I think there are some things bubbling up in the locker room for a team that's in first place. Right. Incredible. So I think Miami doesn't have those issues. I think the chemistry's better. I think they can score more points than the Philly does. And I think Miami wins.
Wow. Okay. I think they can score a lot of points, but I think the Eagles are going to score more at home.
Wow. Okay.
I don't trust the Dolphins defense. I think the Eagles defense is a little bit better, and I think that's going to be the deciding factor. I don't know who can keep up with Tyreek Hill in the league. That's going to be a problem that the Eagles are going to have to get creative to solve. And then even when you solve that, you've got to deal with Waddle, which is very difficult to deal with as well. But again, I mean, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, like you said, to your point, are both very, very good wide receivers too. Right. So, and if you're, I don't know, I think Hurts is a more dynamic quarterback than Tua is. And the other thing that with the Dolphins is their strength of victories is like a 0.131, I think it is. They haven't beaten anybody.
No.
Like they're beating up on really bad teams.
Right.
So this is really going to be a test to see what they can do. And like I said, their defense hasn't looked that great in those games. And just pulling that up. So they beat, of course, the Chargers 36-34 week 1, barely squeaked that one out. They beat New England, Denver. They lost to Buffalo 48-20. They beat the Giants and they beat Carolina.
Yeah. And really, Washington took them to overtime. They haven't played Washington yet. Philly, I'm talking about. Eagles.
Oh, Philly. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Dolphins. Yeah, yeah.
The Eagles.
Right.
Philly. I mean, Jesus. Washington took Philly to overtime.
Yeah.
And really should have got the win. But the Eagles, I think they have some holes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll definitely see. Yeah, they're going to have a challenge coming up because they've got Philly. The Dolphins have Philly this week, obviously, New England, and then Kansas City. So they've got a couple of challenging games. We're gonna find out how good they really are. But I'll say the Eagles win this one and get back on the right track until the Dolphins can prove they can beat some really good teams. We'll see what they are. And then since we're overtime, 49ers, Vikings, 49ers in this one.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have some guys out. If you have no McCaffrey and no Debo, I mean, I get it. They still have Kittle and Ayuk and
a good defense.
Yeah, they still got a good defense. Yeah, I think San Fran. Yep.
Yeah, and no Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. All they've got is Madison and some rookie wide receivers. So nothing you're loving there. San Francisco's a 7-point favorite going on the road to Minnesota. So that's going to be a good one. Hopefully McCaffrey plays because I have him and he's fun to watch. Yep. But that's it. Games have begun. So hopefully we helped you guys prepare for it and win another week of fantasy football. So until next Sunday, John will be back for that one. We are going to try and live stream that one during the Jets-Giants game. So more to come on that one. I know that's something, Jim, you want to do as well. Yeah. So I got to figure it out.
Too,
yeah, we'll have to get Mike on here too. I got to figure out how to set that up at my own house, but we'll figure it out. It's going to be
show the game. We just have to. It just has. We can't rebroadcast.
No, just reactions. I just have to. I have to figure out how to do it up here in my office because I have a TV up here, but I got to. I just need to get it set up. I got to get YouTube and everything set up on there so I can watch the game. And if not, I'm going to have to do it from my phone, set my phone up downstairs. And I need a wide angle. That's the other thing I need to figure out because I do a lot of pacing during the game. So I can't, I'd have a very hard time sitting here watching the game, trying to stay calm because it's going to be a shot of me not in my seat and you're going to hear me yelling from across the room. So I got to figure out the best way to set it up so that I can be myself and enjoy the game.
Giants 3 and out right away.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, at least he's throwing to Barkley. So cool. All right. Well, I'm going to get some breakfast and watch some football.
Yep.
All right. Have a great day, everyone, and best of luck to you and your teams. See you next week.